Dr. Fauci, welcome to BNC Live.
And joining us, Judge Greg Mathis.
It's always a pleasure having you, Attorney James Cook. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to BNC Live. I'm Tashanea Whitlow. We begin with that devastating news out of South Florida. Congress is unlikely to meet President Biden's deadline of signing a policing reform bill into law by tomorrow. That's the anniversary of George Floyd's death. From COVID concerns to sticker shock at the pumps, live team coverage. You see it, everybody in place. 37 million Americans prepare to hit the roads and skies this holiday. We begin with Stephanie Bertini. She is live on Miami Beach for Memorial Day weekend hotspot. Stephanie, girl, I want your job today. Are the incentives offered by California, Ohio, New York working to actually get people vaccinated? Oh, Dr. Hebert. It looks like we're having some trouble with Dr. Hebert. So as soon as we get everybody's favorite doc back, we'll have him answer those questions for you so we can make sure that you are traveling safely this weekend for the unofficial start of summer. Welcome to BNC, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure. Actually, I should say welcome back because this isn't your first rodeo with us. The controversial heartbeat law now joins more than a dozen other states banning abortions after that heartbeat is detected as early as 6 weeks. I mean, most women don't even know they're pregnant at that time. Can you pick up where I left off? That's right, China. We're seeing all these voting restrictions, all these anti-abortion laws coming up on the books. If you're unhappy with what's happening, get them out of office. China Dickerson, thank you so much for joining us on BNC. You need no introduction unless you've been living under a rock for the past 14 months. You and other CDC officials were grilled on Capitol Hill about conflicting messages regarding mask wearing. Was this move to lift the mask mandate political? Let's talk about the J&J vaccine. Now, we know in the beginning it was marketed heavily to Black and brown communities as a one-and-done deal. But it was recalled because of rare blood clots, and now we're also hearing about an outbreak among vaccinated Yankees players. Dr. Fauci, do you still stand by J&J's one shot? Your 30 years of law enforcement, what do you make of this uptick in violence? And Major Frazier, you did mention the Biden administration's plan, which is to $350 billion. They're trying to make that available in state and local funding to communities that are experiencing this heartbreaking surge in gun violence that we're seeing. Now, those dollars will come from the American Rescue Plan, and it can also be used for more officers and equipment. But the plan is voluntary. So based on your experience, should this strategy be required versus then allowing people to opt in or opt out? Major Frazier, I appreciate your response, but you didn't answer the question. What exactly are you seeing there? You told us about your plan, but what are you seeing? Mayor Johnson, do we need more policing in our communities? Convicted murderer Derek Chauvin was sentenced to 22.5 years for the death of George Floyd. Was the use of force justified? I mean, to that extent, punching him in the face? He was already down. In the wake of the Atlanta spa shooting, President Biden ordered the flags to be at half staff, right? Also following anti-hate crimes against Asians, there was the anti-Asian hate crime bill that was just recently signed into law. 14 people were shot this weekend. 2 dead at a cookout, family party, what have you, a gathering. Flags not asked to be flown at half staff. George Floyd bill sitting in the Senate, not law. Is that a clear sign that Black lives are not valued? Is that encouraging Black folks to get out and vote, or is that keeping us away from the polls?
I don't think these restrictive laws are encouraging anyone to go out and vote. Black folks, brown folks, anybody, because they are punitive in some ways. They are very egregious. They stoke fear in some places. We're finding ourselves in a place in time where states are wanting to criminalize offering someone water or snacks.
That's not true. That is not true. I work with the governor of Georgia on that bill. That is not in the language.
Okay, well, we have to be respectful. So let's Miss Mosley, please continue your thought. Mr. Jackson, we'll go right to you thereafter. It's getting heated in here. I'm trying to keep up with y'all. Miss Mosley, if you can give us your brief final wrap, please. Here's the deal. This is the third ballot count in Arizona. Biden's already been sworn into office. He is the president. The election is a done deal. Is this just some kind of political show? And civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump is here with us to discuss this groundbreaking case that sparked a movement and is changing the trajectory of race relations in the United States. And Attorney Crump, not only is this impacting the family, but it's also impacting you and your family. I heard there are reports that you've been threatened.
Well, you know, my personal hero is Justice Thurgood Marshall, and he lived every day of his life with these constant death threats. But we have to be willing to die for something, as my ancestors were willing to die for the day that one day I will have this legal education and be able to go into any courtroom in America and fight for those without a voice.
It's an oath that rings true today as we remember George Floyd, a year after he was killed by the weight of a knee of an officer. A weight felt by Black Americans after viewing images of Black men being killed on camera. In our mental health segment, we examine how to process these troubling images. It's a weight to be Black, my goodness. And here with us to discuss that and more, medical director and mental health influencer, Dr. Lakeisha Legree. Welcome to BNC Live. My goodness, just reading those names, the weight I felt, the anxiety. I mean, it just seems as if Black death has been normalized. Joining me is another doctor, one I'm quite fond of, Dr. Yolanda Hancock. She's a professor at George Washington University. She's also a physician, and she's the founder of Delta Health and Wellness Consulting. And she actually just wrapped up a Reiki healing. So thank you for taking the time to squeeze us in. So Dr. Hancock, the president's goal, 70% of the country, at least with one shot by July 4th. Right. Was that realistic to start off with anyway? Dr. Yolanda Hancock, physician, public health expert, taking the time out of her busy day to sit down and talk with us, having a COVID conversation. Thank you for joining us. It's always a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much for having me.
And stay with us. More news ahead after this short break. You're watching BNC. What would you say to a parent who is in that same lonely space that you were in, that just feels, I don't know if I can do this? It's exciting.
Yeah, it's a big move for him. Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
It is a pleasure, and we wish you and your family all the best. Happy Pride Month. When you started the book, it was dark. I mean, you were literally thinking about your own funeral, who would attend, and then it starts from darkness, and then it brings us to the light toward the end, as you know, lessons learned. Is that where you are physically? And I think that is really the takeaway, is that someone like you can sit on the other side of the makeup chair, of the world stage, of all of the amenities that life has afforded you for your hard work, and say, it's okay to say, I need help.
Absolutely. Those were the words that saved my life.
And it's beautiful that you can smile about it now, because I'll be completely honest with you. Reading the book, I just kept thinking to myself, how did Michelle handle the pandemic? How did she handle the pandemic? Like I'm truly invested from cover to cover. But it seemed like the breakdowns contribute to the buildup that helped you through, and that's what I took away. Is that right?
Yeah, sometimes your breakdown can help you with your breakthrough.
And I definitely want to acknowledge your growth as well, because it seems like you've carved a lane out for yourself with your podcast, which is on Spotify. It's in the title of the book. You also have your YouTube videos, where it seems like it truly allows you to be your authentic, true self. And for anyone who doesn't know, Michelle's first name is Tanitra, middle name Michelle Williams. But do you feel like this really allows you to be your true self? And if so, how fulfilling has this venture been for you?
It's so good. It definitely allows me to be my true self. And I had a revelation, I think last year sometime, where I was like, Tanitra was wounded. Tanitra needed the healing.
We don't have any video of any of your stunts. Do you think you could kind of like show us a quick move, like something fast?
Watch out.
We have to wrap, unfortunately, but I would love if you can give me a hee-hee.
Oh. You did it too good. I can't beat that, so I'm gonna let you just have that, and we'll go with that, because you got me off guard on that one.
TJ Jackson, it was such a pleasure having you. Again, my condolences with you and your family as you all mark the 12 years since your uncle's passed. Thank you for joining us on BNC.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you.